Welcome to Head Full of Radio, where a longtime Radiohead fan goes through the whole recorded discography alongside his friend, who's only familiar with the song Creep. Will we agree on the songs? Can I convert him into a fan? Let's find out.
Radiohead Polyethylene lyrics.
Now I do remember this song.
Really? Because you haven't heard it yet.
I don't remember the song, but I remember the name. So maybe
yes.
it's just made a point of somehow becoming, maybe when we left off, I saw this was the next one.
That might make sense, yeah.
Yeah,
this is the real where we should have been.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Hello?
Hello, question mark, right back at you.
Thank you. Welcome to episode 92 of the podcast. Wow, I'm really struggling right now, aren't I?
You're so hesitant. Are you sure this is 92?
Well, I'm just looking through a lot of tasks.
Gotcha.
So we're on episode 92 as part of the Paranoid Android single. And we are on Polyethylene parts 1 and 2.
Ooh,
yeah, it's basically two little parts put together, kind of. Yeah, it was recorded with the rest of OK Computer and very nearly made it onto the album. The part 1, Thom doesn't remember the lyrics.
Good stuff.
So yeah, so if you if you go on the right websites, there's the Japanese version of the Paranoid Android EP has the lyrics for this song in it, but they don't match either parts 1 or 2 because Thom doesn't remember them.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
he like retroactive lyrics or
I don't know. I think he just sang something when he was singing. I have no idea. But he did say about this song, because we love quotes from the band about their songs. We live under a world banking system and media that make it almost irrelevant who is in power. Political systems worldwide are at the mercy of business and bullshit economies. I can't recycle any of the polyethylene packaging that fills my house. Why?
There you have it. I like that law. I wouldn't have thought to put 2 and 2 together like that, but there you have it.
Yeah. So there you go. Would you like to hear it?
I would love to hear it.
So you just noticed something on the lyrics.
I did.
Because I have the lyrics put up for you. What did you notice?
I saw a go and an exclamation mark, and it reminded me of a certain go that we have featuring long before now, as maybe a preview to this very moment. Am I right?
You are correct.
Wow.
The go that you hear every single episode before the song is from this song. We finally made it. It all comes together.
What a moment. We're like, in a moment of history. It's a new era now. Post-go world.
Post-go world.
Absolutely.
All right, are you ready to hear it? For like the real time in the real context of the real song?
Hit me.
Go!
Oh, I forgot how much I love his voice.
Yeah.
Just got paid and now you're gone. I'll set you please. If I get scared, I'll just call you. And I'll beat your clothes out and settle. And I'll always feel all over Spain. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Really makes me pull such interesting faces as I listen to him because of like how his voice just moves me.
Yeah.
switch up.
So say you sit inside and come and live with me.
I love this song.
Very different. Oh, it's weird.
Yeah,
Like, it just doesn't hit you the way you are expecting it to.
exactly. Like, this is a B-side that could have been on their album, which is crazy to me because it's such a good song.
I love how you're just like hyperfixated on this one. Polyethylene of it all. I read that as defecate and I was like, oh.
Yeah, no. I need to decaffeinate. I like that guitar part. It's simple and, you know?
Yeah, I feel that. Makes me think of a thing from jumping down the stairs. I don't know why. Like the like going down the steps.
Angrily.
Yeah, like each impact is like a clunk.
Yes, that's a good point.
Oh, it's getting strange. Again.
There you go.
Oh, hey.
So, talk me through that one.
That was definitely like an interesting / weird one. Because obviously, like, you had to switch up. Very tender beginning in part one.
Mm-hmm.
At least what I assume was part one.
Yes.
And then he comes out a lot
It'd be
more
weird
like...
to put the second part first.
Yeah. And then the second time he like is singing very differently. Different energy, like using different part of his voice. And then it like straight out the gate, like you think you're getting into a rhythm, and then he kind of does something a bit funky with it. So it's a bit like, oh no, he's not going to do what I'm expecting him to, and it's a bit jarring. But in a
I
clever
agree.
way.
But and his voice is really the thing that's holding it together for everything, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like he's kind of telling you a story.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. Yeah.
He's always a storyteller, our Thom. And where else did it go from there? Then it got kind of to a point where it was a bit more like, okay, no, we're back on a groove. And then you're right, the little steppy part, I really vibed with that. Yeah, that's a big thumbs up. And then the end got weird again. So it was just a bit of a like a drifty, what's going on? Like, ooh, have we found stability? And it's like, oh, we're strange again. So, to know, wasn't it? It goes in very many different places. This song, doesn't it?
It does, yeah, but it flows well enough. if that makes sense.
I feel like on a first listen, I'm still like gonna have to get my head around it.
Might have to make that a revisitor.
Perhaps, because full disclosure, I listened to a simpler, older song before we listened to this. And
that's true.
So it's a jump for me.
It's
So
a jump.
I need to recalibrate after that. So this is like, well, like I'm almost like the word. It just surged from like the whoa.
Yeah. From a generic-y type track to a very layered.
Yes, exactly. It's a lot more complex than like this. Like the previous track, I was able to just kind of, in a way, like switch off and be like, yeah, that was cool. But this is
put
like,
your hands up and wave along to the song, like la,
absolutely. Whereas this is like, it's like a smarter song. At the same time,
yes, that's a good way of putting it.
I have to be probably a bit more tuned in also to appreciate the smartness. That makes sense. So complex.
So what would you give it out of a
this is
our
where
rating system?
It's difficult because comparing the two, they're like got different things. Like in some ways, this is obviously a lot more like, as I mentioned, like smart and like mature and like clever and just got interesting things about it. But maybe it's the post-work brain fog of it all has this kind of not as easily, penetrating my barriers. Like it wasn't as easy of something to like digest.
Okay.
So I feel like I'm going to undersell it. Maybe on a re-listen, I'll be able to bump it up a bit. But for now, I'm probably going to go with. I'm forgetting I think I'm going to get our ones and twos mixed up.
Colin and Phil.
It's Phil 2.
He is 2, yeah.
Okay, see, I was going to hit you with a Colin and a half, and that would have been disgraceful. So I am going to say 10.5.
Okay. Now, I didn't want to jump in with mine. I have a sort of like a romanticism with what's actually called the Airbag How Am I Driving single. And a lot of we're not going to listen to the Airbag How Am I Driving single because basically what happens on it is it's Airbag and then it's a bunch of other songs we're going to hear on different singles between now and then.
Interesting.
But it had Polyethylene. It had the next 3 songs and then a couple later after our 100.
So there is some sort of structure to it.
Yeah. And I had that single when I went on a trip in 1997 I took a Greyhound bus. It was like a 2-day trip. And all I did was listen to this 7-song single over and over again. And then I'd listen to like 9 Inch Nails and then put that one thing back on my CD player that had the no skip bouncing thing. So I have this sort of like romanticism about going to Bonnyville, Alberta, for my friend's wedding. Actually, it was 1998. Sorry, 98. Going to my friend's wedding in 98 and listening to that the whole way. So whenever I hear these songs, it reminds me of being just out of high school the year after I graduated and like, not knowing what the hell I was going to do with my life. So it's hard for me to rate this lower than an 8.5. No matter how good or bad I think it is, it's just like I can't disassociate. Yeah, I can't disassociate the memory of being in the middle of Saskatchewan and hearing it for the 5th time.
That's powerful. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So there you go. That's my review.
Very fair. I mean, yeah, that's so cool to get that insight into this song as it, like, where it was for you.
I'm pretty sure I learned how to play it on guitar because that doesn't sound like a super hard guitar part.
Right.
Specifically the one that goes down the stairs.
That sounds like it would be fun to play.
Yeah. I should revisit that sometime. So that's episode 92.
Right.
Next week is going to be a double episode.
Oh.
Because we're going to hear 2 versions of the same song.
Very cool. I always like those situations.
So it'll be 93, 94.
Hey, we're stepping on up.
We're getting close to the 100th episode spectacular, folks.
Yes, I'm excited.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
We will see you just before Halloween.
Sounds good. See you all then.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
This podcast is recorded on Discord and is edited in GarageBand. The intro and outro music are Radiohead covers and can be found on Spotify under the band Lift. That's Lifte, with F as in Foxtrot. Also, find us on TikTok and Vimeo under the name @HeadfulOfRadio. If